B team, welcome back. Special guest Abe Dimmitt.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming on and coming here.
Yeah.
Second outside podcast that we've done, I think. I mean, besides all the shit that we do, golf and food reviews, but
I like it. It's football weather.
2 days away. Opening day, Thursday. Chiefs, Ravens. What's your preview on that game before we start getting into the birds? I mean, game one, baby.
It's tough. Ravens got Derrick Henry now. It's hard not to see them as a big threat. But it's so hard to bet against the Chiefs. Who's home that game? The Chiefs, right?
I think Kansas City.
Chiefs got it. I think the Chiefs got it. But going out there, they're not three-peating. No three-peat.
No three-peat?
Eagles are ending it.
Do you have
All right, so, I mean, if we're going to start right there,
Yeah.
right?
Right into it.
That's the first Super Bowl prediction from a fan on the show because Mike certainly isn't saying it. I haven't said it. So first prediction of the season is that the Birds will win the Super Bowl and end in the Mahomes ring.
Come on, man.
So
you know
I want you to give us an honest expectation of the Birds this year. Like honest expectation, what you're expecting, what you think they're capable of, especially having Kellen Moore in there. It's kind of a new regime, you got young guys stepping up, no more Jason Kelsey.
Nope. Yeah,
Is the downfall of 2023 going to affect 24? That's the biggest question.
That is the biggest question. I definitely agree with that. I think at this point in the season, every team has questions, and that's definitely the Eagles' biggest question is can they get back to those 2022 vibes where, nothing could have seemed to gone wrong besides, Jalen Hurts, phantom fumble, turns the whole game around, we lose the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles are at the point where I think, they're starting to rely on their youth. They're starting to rely on how he's drafting. And that's been his biggest question throughout his career is can he, put together some good draft classes. And
You mean just draft guys from Georgia? Like, can he get all the guys from Georgia? Okay.
How many Georgia collectibles can we get? And, the Georgia guys, you want to hit on at least 50% of your draft picks, And if we hit on 3 out of 6 Georgia guys, then so be it. They're not all going to be hits. But, you want most of your guys to turn into, reliable pieces. And the Eagles now, especially on defense, they're relying on youth heavily. So that's why, I know you asked about Kellen Moore, but I think Vic Fangio, just him coming in there, he's going to be huge. I really believe that. Last year it was just disastrous on defense. You have 2 defensive coordinators, one being Matt Patricia, who outside of Belichick, he hasn't accomplished anything really. So, I'm excited. I said the Eagles are going to end it, but, that's best case scenario for Eagles fans. I think, that's their ceiling. I think it can be done. You look at the offense, the firepower they have. It's hard not to see them as a top 3 offense in the league. And, offense wins football games, defense wins championships. So, I think the youth has to, develop along the season. And, if they do, then, I think we can make some noise in the playoffs.
I know we talked about this a little bit in that GM, but the defense was and still is, I think, the biggest mystery because we know the line is good. Or the defensive line. We know there are guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. I feel like we're still waiting to see him blossom into the player that we wanted him to be. I want to touch on last year real quick. I hate to bring it up, but like, what happened, bro? Like you guys started out 10-1.
Yep.
You finished 1-6, and the loss to the Bucs was. This is why, before you answer it, this is why I think they are the biggest mystery because the offense I'm not really too worried about. I said this on last week's episode, but can Jalen Hurts get it together? Can Kellen Moore unlock him? Because last year, again, I don't want to talk shit on it or anything, but like there was a lot of push touchdowns. We all know that. Is that going to be the same? If that's eliminated, with obviously Jason Kelce being gone, like how is he going to replicate or substitute that stuff for passing the ball or getting just more production?
Yeah, so I think a lot has come out about last year, and I don't think we'll ever truly know what went wrong. I seen something come out that Sirianni was calling plays all year, and we saw his first year for half the season.
That OC had to go, by the way.
It was just disastrous. So, whether it was Brian Johnson calling plays, Sirianni, whoever it was, not good. It just wasn't good. There was never a rhythm. They never established a rhythm. Every touchdown, every drive, it just felt like you were just
so
tense. No flow, no rhythm. I think it was the Athletic, Diana Rossini or whatever. She said like
New mom.
She said like every game they won last year, it just felt like they climbed Mount Olympus. Like it was like to win a game last year for them, even though they started 10-1, they knew something was wrong and they knew it wasn't going to be sustainable. So then, you beat the Chiefs, you beat the Bills, and you feel like you're on cloud nine. Nothing else can go wrong. Romo right before Jalen Hurts runs it in for a touchdown to walk it off against the Bills. This is what championship championship pedigree teams are made of. And then after that, it was just the worst collapse we've seen. So,
now, do you think that Super Bowl loss has a huge reason behind this? Because when you look at that Super Bowl, the Eagles looked like they were the best team in the NFL. Like no one could touch them.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even as a Cowboys fan, like I can look at that team and say, like, all right, there's just no shot that year of anyone touching it. It looked like the Eagles might win the next 5 divisions.
Yeah.
No matter who the Cowboys brought in, no matter who it didn't matter. They were going to win the next 5 divisions, win Super Bowls. And then last year happens. And you're sitting there like, what the fuck?
I mean, like I said, I don't think we'll ever truly know what happened. Like I said, though, I do think they could get back to that 2022 aura the team had. Everything that could have possibly went wrong last year went wrong. And I think if the Eagles let that kind of loom over them going into this season, then it's going to carry over. But if they collectively as a team decide, which I think they have and they've been trying to, but obviously the media continues to bring it up, because it's a big question mark going into this year. Is that going to carry over? But I think if they put that behind them, focus on what's ahead, which I think, you guys mentioned Jalen Hurts' leadership a lot. I think that's what he likes to focus on and says a lot. Focus on what's ahead, then I think they'll be okay. But, I think it's definitely a big question. It is.
So building off that here, what do you need to see from Nick Sirianni this year to keep him around next year? Because last year there was question marks around if he would even be brought back this year.
Yeah.
And, you got to look at that side of it. Is Nick Sirianni the best option for them moving forward if he can't even get this team to get going? I mean, they just brought in Saquon and Jahan. This offense is loaded.
So I think with Sirianni, it's an interesting case, because he was really good at winning for a while.
If last year didn't happen, I don't think we'd be having this conversation,
No,
though.
definitely not.
And I think we're
when you
being
have a 1-6 collapse.
That would be every coach in the NFL.
What, going 1-6 and then losing the first round of the playoffs?
If a bad season didn't happen the year before, we'd never talk about
Well, I'm saying
it.
if that didn't happen. Oh yeah. Oh, but don't get me started in that fucking team, bro. Don't get me started on that team. But I think the Philadelphia fans have a reason to point fingers very early. Granted, the man got you to how many Super Bowls again? 2 or 1? I forget. 1? Sirianni. He got you to 1 Super Bowl. Okay. Winning seasons, all that. I get it. Is Kellen Moore the best hire? That's for us to see. I mean, this man, you knew he was on the Chargers too. There was hatred in the studio downstairs about Kellen Moore, and you were right.
From both fan bases.
from both fan bases. I don't know how much faith you have in him, but do you think that he can lead that offense to being a top 3, top 5 offense, like you said?
I mean, he's done it in the past. He's definitely, he had the Cowboys as a number 1 offense in the league. Now, we have Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan we just got, Dallas Goedert, and still, granted we lost Kelsey.
Still good.
Question at right guard. Mekhi, can he step in, be a good right guard? There's some questions, but I'd say still comfortably a top 10 offensive line. You have to try to not have a successful offense
Agree.
with that group of players.
100%.
Now, given Kellen, again, there's a lot of questions going into the year that a lot of these guys have to answer. Do I think last year's Chargers team was a good case study for Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator? You could use it, but I don't think that's who he is, definitely as a coach.
Way different team.
Way different team.
Especially on the offensive line side.
Brandon Staley, who knows what. So, there was a lot of injuries, not a really good offensive line. Austin Eckler lost a step. Herbert was hurt. Mike Williams lost for the year. Keenan Allen, he was really the only one. He was even hurt.
He was in and out.
But he had a great year. So, I look back on, I haven't looked into it too much, but I look back on his time with the Cowboys and, outside of the playoff success, I think he was a really successful offensive coordinator with the Cowboys. So, I'm excited to see what he could do with our group compared to last year. I think you two could have stepped in and it would have been an upgrade. So to get a proven offensive coordinator, I think that's exactly what we needed, and that's why I'm excited going into this year to see what we could do with a proven offensive coordinator.
No, I agree with you. I think Kellen is a good offensive coordinator. There's no doubt about it. Like, I do believe he's a good offensive coordinator. He can put points up like no one else. That being said, that man must hate defenses being on the field. He must love it, I guess, because he's scoring so fast. But your defense is just going to be exhausted. You saw it when the Cowboys were playing. The score would just run up on both sides of the ball because it's like the defense is coming off the field. We're not running the ball. We're throwing bombs. We're scoring points. We're laying up score. Games are ending like 40-35. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's where it comes in. Is Vic Fangio going to be able to get this defense clicking? Are the young guys going to be able to step up? Those Georgia boys, are they going to be able to sustain it all year? Are they going to hit a wall for some weeks?
Yeah.
Where you're going to battle? I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Like I said, yeah. I don't think scoring too fast is that big of a problem. If we score fast, I'm happy. It's always going to be kind of on the defense. If that's how Kellen Moore, likes to run his offense, and Vic Fangio knows that, then when they're on the field, they just have to get a stop or two. If we're blowing teams out, putting up 35, 40 points, a stop or two could be the difference in a game, and that's where Vic's going to come into play. Now, do I think that's where Sirianni comes into play and kind of, maybe nudges Kellen a little bit? Hey, we got Saquon Barkley. We just paid him, $40 million. Let's rely on him a little bit. Let's grind this clock out, because that's kind of been, looking back to 2022, that's what the Eagles, and even 2017, that's what the Eagles would do. They would
even last year, bro.
These 8-9 minute drives, grinding teams down. And, when you control the clock, take the ball out of the other team's hands, especially against great quarterbacks like, Mahomes, Josh Allen.
Zach Wilson.
That's what you have to do. You have to, the best defense is keeping the ball out of their hands. So, I do think, Sirianni's still going to have some say. It's still his team. I do think he's a great leader on this team. I think if we're taking the clipboard out of his hands, the play sheet out of his hands, and we're just letting him lead the team, I do think he could be a good head coach. But as far as Kellen goes, I'm excited. There's no reason for me not to be excited just because of what we've seen last year, which I know it's such a low bar, but like I said, it's a huge upgrade for us. We got a proven guy that could come in, call plays. We were last in the league in motion. He's going to come in. He's going to implement a lot of new looks. And he has so much to work with. So I'm excited. I like I said, I know there's some questions about him, which, he has to answer those questions. But, from a fan standpoint, I can't overanalyze that. I'm just happy. I'm just happy for him to come in and see what he could do.
But this is the thing, too, like what you were saying. Their offense, and we saw it last year, the first, 10 games of the year, it wasn't sexy.
No.
There was nothing sexy about it, but
ugly.
they won games because they used clock management, just chewing the damn clock, running the ball with DeAndre Swift, bro. If they're doing that, and listen, great, he's a good player. He's not no Saquon Barkley at all.
No.
Now you got a guy who you could really rely on to eat the clock up. Listen, it doesn't matter if Jalen Hurts is throwing 150 yards and 1 touchdown on a pick. If you're winning 31 to fucking 10, like, you're winning games, bro. They won games solely just by running the ball and just devouring teams, just putting them through the gutter, bro. It would listen, again, it was not beautiful football. I mean, to some it was, but it wasn't flashy. It wasn't, oh my God, look at the superstars going crazy. That's probably why AJ went a little diva at times, but it was a recipe for success. And the problem was, I think they got away from that. They get back to that. Of course, I think Sirianni's going to have some say too with that. He's going to have, listen, this is our strategy. This is our game plan. You call it how you want, but please don't get rid of the run. Make sure you incorporate that. That's what's going to win you games. I believe.
I believe that too. I think it's a proven strategy in the NFL. If you rely on the run, establish the run, it opens up the passing game.
You can't be one-sided.
No, you can't be. And I think, Jalen Hurts was, after Week 13, after they beat the Bills, he was the odds-on MVP favorite. And I think we're kind of losing sight of the player that Jalen is just because of the ending that we had. And, he was bad in the playoff game. Don't get me wrong. He was bad. But the whole team was bad. And I think if Jalen Hurts wasn't who he is as a player, the dual threat that he is, I don't think they start 10-1 last year. So I do think a lot of the Eagles' success last year was kind of just, Jalen, go get us points. Let's scheme up, let's scheme up a play for Devontae. Let's scheme up a play for AJ. It was just kind of backyard football a lot of the time where it's like Jalen's probably in the huddle going, hey, AJ, run a slant right here. Hey, AJ, let's run a post. Let's run a fly. Double move him. I think, and going back to Kellen, I think that's where I see a lot of potential is the right word, I think. A lot of potential going into this year where Jalen's not going to have to, be a superhero this year. Rely on your guys. Rely on your team. Trust your offensive line. Trust your technique. Focus on your fundamentals and focus on getting the ball out. He doesn't have the arm talent that Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. He's not that kind of quarterback, but he's smart. He's a dual threat, and when he gets the ball out, he can make the right decisions. And he's a guy that you could win with. So I put a tweet out. Given that Kellen's coming in, the weapons that he has, we still have a great offensive line. Jalen should be top 5 MVP voting this year, and going into the last 3 weeks of the season, he should be right in the mix. And if not, the season's a disaster. Something went terribly wrong, and then they're gonna have a lot of questions after the season. Not with Jalen, but I think they're gonna have to get a new coach if that's the case. But like I said, that's worst case scenario. Something terrible went wrong. I think if everything goes according to plan this season with what they want to do, Jalen's gonna be right in the mix for an MVP. I can't see a scenario where he's not, just given the weapons around him. Kellen Moore coming in, great offensive line. That's where I'm at with it.
No, I agree with you. And I say this every year before the season. People like to forget that I say this. But I'm a big Jalen Hurts guy. Yeah. Roll Tide. But, there's a part of me that's looking at it. And if he can't figure it out this year, we got to start asking questions. I think the coaching staff, like you said, goes first. He's going to get another year, but, like, we got to see Jalen get back to what he does best. Dak kind of lost it a little bit, and we went through a similar situation after he broke his ankle where he was that physical guy. He was this dual threat. He could throw the ball. He could slant. He could run, right? Last year, I feel like Jalen kind of got away from his legs a little bit, especially at the end. There was a few plays, key plays at the end, where it's like if he just takes off, it's a first down, game's over. Eagles probably score, blow it up even more. And you saw it with Dak too. And I think both of them are in a similar boat where the fans are behind them. And we all just want them to get back to what they did great in that, like, 1 or 2 seasons that they looked really good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we'll see if he can get back this year. I think he can, especially with those weapons, like you said.
Yeah, I think, Jalen had some injuries last year. He had a knee injury. So, that was that affecting him? Mm-hmm. He downplayed it a lot, but, it's a knee and you're a dual threat quarterback. So, it's hard to believe that wasn't, playing a factor. And again, I think all the pressure that the offense kind of had on him,
mm-hmm.
I think he overthought a lot of the time. I think he kind of just, in his mind, he thought every play he had to be superhero or Superman. And, he needs to get back to like you said, he needs to get back to playing technical football, go through your reads, mm-hmm. get the ball out. If you see a lane, take off. And I think they have to get to the point where, like in 2022, they were designing the quarterback run. They were setting up the quarterback run. Last year, it was like, I swear, 50 plays, you'd see Jalen just, catch the ball, drop back, and take off. Mm-hmm. And it was like teams were ready for it every single time. It got to the point where the fans were like, why are we still running this play? And Antonio said to me one game, this looks like Sirianni's calling plays. Because it was that bad. Like, that's exactly how it looked his first year. And then it comes out after the season that he's calling plays. So I think if we get back to, establishing the run with Saquon, he's going to open it up for Jalen. And Jalen focusing on getting the ball out quick. I think like I said, man, I just can't see a scenario where this doesn't, lead to success and a lot of wins.
So you're on Twitter. You obviously follow all the Eagles beat. Yeah. The burner boy. You're on the beat. You see it all. Have you seen a lot of these just other burners or people on Twitter turn on Jalen Hurts, even after that stretch last year? Like, are there any concerns about Hurts season? Hurts season. Were there any concerns, like backlash, like, oh, like, is this the guy? Like, are you kind of coming? I mean, it seems like you are all in on Hurts.
I am.
Is it? Give me a percentage. Is it like 80 to 20% in on Hurts, out on Hurts?
I'd say it's still 99%.
It's 99%.
I haven't seen anyone. Eagles fans love Jalen Hurts. They look like he's Philly to a T.
He kind of is, bro.
So I think it would take, like, Carson Wentz, for example.
Honestly, I thought he was Philly to a T, bro. Something about it.
I really did not.
You really did not? Dude, he fit so perfectly.
I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Me, Penny Otis, and Aaron were sitting in the sack freshman year of college, and it's like, holy shit, we got Carson Wentz for the next 15 years. We won the Super Bowl that year, but then everything after that, it was just downhill, so...
Let's not act like Carson Wentz won a Super Bowl here.
Oh, he didn't. No, he didn't win it. But
Nick Foles.
He contributed.
Nick Foles was the best quarterback on that football team and still is.
I don't know about that. I mean, he won a Super Bowl, so I can't say much. But Carson Wentz was looking like...
Nick Foles lasted longer in the league than Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, look at that. Life comes full circle. We're sitting in the sack freshman year.
He's barely in the league.
Talking about Carson Wentz, and Aaron was always, Carson Wentz, he's not that good, man. He's not that good. Look at him now, backing up Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, he's picking up his jock strap. He's not playing.
Shout out to Neach.
Shout out Neach. I said to him, watch, it's, God forbid Mahomes gets hurt. Carson Wentz comes in, wins them some playoff games. I'm going to have to give Neach some shit. But
If that happens,
We all have that one quarterback, bro.
dude, if that happens,
I mean, didn't Chad Henne come in and win a playoff game for them a couple of years ago? So was it
he
Chad
did.
Henne?
He did, yeah. Chad, he was there for years, just backing up.
Yeah,
that was
he
his
beat
life.
the-
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, baby. Just watch.
I got Jefferson in like 5 fantasy leagues, so I hope.
You better hope. He's got JJ.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, so do I.
But
Yeah.
going back to the Carson Wentz thing,
Yeah.
so I think, you know, you look at Jalen Hurts on one side, Carson Wentz on the other side. Carson Wentz was, after the injury, he wasn't the same. You could kind of tell. That
He
had the
was
back
soft.
Injury the following year, he was a pussy. Honestly, like just he kind of like him and Jalen are just, I feel like, on polar opposite sides of the spectrum. Where
Yeah.
I feel like Jalen is just like you know, work hard. I'm gonna work hard till, you know, I can't anymore. And Carson was kind of just like, I'm a duck hunt and you know, sit on my ranch and, you know, maybe I'll pick up a football. And you know, everyone has their own, you know, their own thing, and you know, that's fine. But when you're not playing well, Philly is gonna get on your ass if you're not, you know, showing that. You know, it's like the whole Ben Simmons
Ben
thing.
Simmons, I was just about to say that. Yep.
If you're not, you know, Ben Simmons would put out a workout video once an off season, and
he still
you know,
does it.
shoot jump shots, and you know, we're like, oh shit, this is the year, and it never happened. So you know, Philly fans will get to the point where if we don't feel like you're putting in the work, then that's when they start to turn on you a little bit, and it's like, yo, like what the fuck, like come on. Jalen Hurts is just opposite. Like I just feel like we feel like we have such a workhorse at quarterback, and someone that, you know, is so determined and wants to win so bad that everyone kind of resonates with that. And, you know, that's someone that we could get behind and support. And that's why I don't think anyone's really turning on Jalen yet. I
So he's a
think
leader.
I do think he's a leader. I do. I do think he had to step up a bit in that sense. And, you know, it's documented because he's not the most vocal guy, I don't think. You know, he got the Instagram captions and, you know, everything that comes out of his mouth, it's kind of like an Instagram
Yes.
caption. But,
Right there, what you just
but I
said.
do think it's genuine, and I think that's the difference.
Yes.
I think everything that comes out of his mouth is genuine. I don't think he sees something and thinks like, yeah, you know, this would make headlines. I think that's actually how he thinks. That's how he feels, and so that's what he says. You know, I think, you know, he's a Southern guy. I think he bleeds football. He loves football. He loves Philly. And, you know, I think he wants to win more than anything, and I think that's what his teammates see. And I think from a vocal standpoint, he needs to step up a bit. But from setting an example of, you know, how you should be as a player, I think he's a great leader. I really do.
No, I agree with everything you just said. And I think people last year got on him for this because when he would go to the press conference, go to the media, he would say these things like he was fucking like a Greek
100%.
philosopher. And you're looking at like, bro, you just lost to the Bucks, man.
Yeah.
Like you didn't go out there and lose to the boys, Mahomes,
No.
Lamar. Like you lost to the
And
Bucks.
I will say, going into the Bucks game, vibes were low.
Yeah.
Oh, they were
I didn't
so
I
low.
didn't expect to win at all. And I think it was just like put us out of our misery. It was like a horse with a broken leg.
You should have claimed that your flight couldn't make and you had to forfeit. You should like that would have ended the season better than what happened.
Yeah, and you know, I think it was a good learning opportunity for them though, because I do think that, like we said earlier, you know, in the conversation, everything that could have went wrong last year went wrong for them. There wasn't really anything that went right. And you know, going into this year, it's a whole different team. You know, you lose Jason Kelsey, you lose Fletcher Cox. Those are, you know, 2 cornerstones of the franchise that it's gonna hurt, and someone's gonna have to step up and fill their role. And it doesn't have to be one player or 2 players. It's gonna be a collective effort. But you know, you got guys like Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, that, you know, those 2 guys, you know, they lead by example, kind of like Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's gonna step in and replace Jason Kelsey or Fletcher Cox. It's just not gonna happen. But I do think, in a sense, it's a fresh start. It's a new chapter, and I do think it's exciting as a fan to see how they're gonna respond and who's gonna step up to kind of fill their place. And when a legend dies, a new legend's born. They say that. So I think it's gonna be exciting to see who steps up for the Eagles. We got a lot of exciting young guys. These guys talk about Jalen Carter like he's the next Aaron Donald. So
Who do you think will step up on both sides of the ball here? Because Jalen Carter, I think, is
100%.
go ahead.
100% an answer. So, who would be an offensive, defensive guy?
So, like I said, it's going to be a collective effort. Cam Jurgens, I think, not as a leader.
Are we jerking off?
We're jerking off, baby.
Jerking off, Cam Jurgens, baby.
I'm excited for him, man. He
Just put your head in a blender there. You had no idea that one was coming.
So I'm excited for him, man. He played well last year at right guard, and he's never, I don't think, played right guard in his life. So I think being around Kelsey for 2 years and kind of just learning how to be a pro. I'm excited for him. From a leader standpoint, I think AJ, I think he's going to take that next step and kind of step up and say, I'm getting older in my career. I don't think it's just going to be him either, but I do think he's going to be one of the main ones that are more vocal. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think he's going to be one of the guys that kind of, steps up and says, he'll call out bullshit if players aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Defensively, Jalen Carter, man, he's gonna be elite, and getting CJ back, I think is gonna be huge.
I think he's going to give you guys a spark.
He was missed last year, man. He really was, and trying to fill his place. It's just going to be done. They tried to get Byard. But going into the season, they had Terrell Edmonds and Reed. Reed's a good player, but nothing crazy. He's not going to fill the role of a leader, a vocal leader, someone that brings passion and fire to the defense. That was missed last year, and I think it showed, obviously, down the stretch. Going back, looking back on last year, the defense was bad, man. They were really, really, really bad. Zach Cunningham and N'Kobe got hurt first week of the season, so you got Zach Cunningham and I can't even think of the other guy's name. He was that bad. It was just like our linebackers were awful, and then James Bradbury took a step back and. That contract's, a miss by Howie. And then you got Terrell Edmonds and Reed Blankenship at safety. So it's like you compare that defense with, a not really good defensive coordinator, compared to this year, Devin White, he's coming in, and I feel like he got a lot to prove. And he's had some bad seasons. And relying on a guy like that, you look back at last year, and it's like, we brought in Zach Cunningham, who kind of, similar player. But I am excited for Devin just in the sense that, he's a freak athlete. He's a really good blitzer what Vic likes to do a lot. And then you got youth all over the secondary with, Quinyon coming in, Coop, Sidney Brown. I'm really excited about.
Yeah, you guys cured racism.
What's that? What'd you say?
By drafting the dude from Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
You solved it. We're back. Yeah.
I hope, man. Yeah. Coop, he was hurt off training camp, so it's kind of not how you want to start your career, especially being a white defensive back coming in. Might have to move him to safety soon.
I think he already is moved to safety, isn't he?
He's a nickel corner. So
yeah, I know.
I think ultimately that's where he's gonna settle in. But Quinyon, man.
That was my next question. Is he could be slot corner, or is he could be like cornerback too right now?
So right now just from what I see, I'm on Twitter like 8 hours a day, so I don't miss anything.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, maybe not 8. I'm gassing, but
Abe Charnia.
yeah. So what it seems like is he in base, he's gonna be the cornerback opposite of Slay, and then
As he
Isaiah
should.
Rodgers is gonna come in and nickel. Quignon's gonna move into the slot. So Vic Fangio just said yesterday, I'm happy with where he's at. Everything that we've handed to him, he's handled well, and they feel like he's ready. So I can't believe he fell to 22.
Yeah.
It was like I thought we were gonna have to move up to 12 to get him. That's what I had in my mock. So to get someone like that come in here, Eagles haven't taken a corner in the first round since 2002, I think. So I'm really excited for him, man. I think he's got all-pro potential.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make a couple Pro Bowls. But again, it all comes back to the youth movement that we had on defense this year. N'Kobe had a great training camp. He hasn't been able to put it together yet. You got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. coming in.
Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith.
I haven't heard anything about him.
He's got a lot of work to do, man.
Yeah, still developing.
When we took him, it was kind of like it was a euphoric pick because you got all these Georgia guys coming in.
Yeah.
But at the time, you knew he was a project. He's a bit undersized, has to put on some weight. And what I love about Vic is he's not going to play him if he doesn't feel like he can contribute. So, that's going to be really telling this year. Can Nolan get on the field? And I think they need him to get on the field. They need him to rotate in with Sweat. And, in preseason, he hasn't really impressed me much. He hasn't really looked, that good. He's made some plays, but I'm not very optimistic going into his second year for him.
Honestly, that's fine, though, because if you look at how he's passed,
Yeah.
I think if we're just talking solely about draft picks and free agency pickups, trades, I mean, he's been one of the best. You know this. Everyone knows this. One thing that we're forgetting is you guys have Bryce Huff.
Yeah.
People have no idea how good this dude is. Again, he's a certain type of player where you cannot play him every single down on the defensive line. I don't think you guys are going to use him like that. He's going to be in pass packages. Third down, he'll be on the field. He is a force to reckon with, bro. You're gonna see this guy and you're gonna be like, holy shit. Just watch every time he's on third down, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. Watch him. He's a fucking beast, bro. He's fast. He's strong. I mean, I wish they would have paid him. Again, the Jets used him perfectly.
You guys got yourself in a bind.
We got ourselves in a massive bind right now, but that guy is gonna make a big difference for your team.
So, touching on him, I haven't even mentioned him, but because he's just kind of one of those guys that go under the radar.
His whole career.
He showed me a lot this preseason, and
Just wait, man.
I think Vic and the whole organization, honestly, he's still a young guy, and they need him, and they're paying him to be a 3-down player. So I think Vic going into training camp is something that he put on his plate was, you need to become a 3-down player, and that's what we're paying you to be. That's what we need you to be.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you're a starter. Like, who's starting over him? No one.
Yeah.
So one of the things that he had to work on this off season was defending the run, and
He's got to develop into that. Defending the run when he was on the Jets, defending that run. It was non-existent. He was only a third down pass,
Yep.
like pass rush
and
specialist.
that's how they used him in New York, and I think
It worked.
It's a bet. It's
Yeah.
a bet that the Eagles are making that they
Absolutely.
feel that he can develop into that kind of player. And I'm confident he is just because of what he showed in the preseason. But again, it's another one of those questions that the Eagles have on defense that they have to answer.
Mhm.
Defense or offensively, there's some questions, but
It's
there's
defense.
no glaring question that the Eagles have on offense.
100%. Yep.
The Eagles should come in on offense and it should be business as usual, and they should put up 30 points with ease. They should. And it's not going to be every game, but they really should with that group of players.
Mhm.
30 points with ease. Defensively, they're relying on youth, man. They
You knew this was going to happen, though. Like
they
we
want
talked
it.
about
They
this for
want it
years,
this way.
bro. This was going to happen. There was the time where you had, Lane Johnson, all that, Jordan Mailata, Jason Kelsey. Defense was the same. You relied on Fletcher Cox a lot, Brandon Graham.
Yep.
Like there was going to be a time where there had to be a youth movement,
It has
and
to.
yeah, but you
It has
guys
to
are in a
happen.
good position where it's not just a full ass rebuild. You're winning now, but getting these young guys mixed in with veteran leadership like Darius Slay, like Bryce Huff and Sweat. So
Yeah.
I think the linebacking core is going to be interesting. I feel like Howie never really addressed that. That's like there's always that one positional group that GMs or coaches just don't address. Linebacking was one of them, but they also had okay players, but they had such a good D-line and secondary that it didn't even matter at that point.
And it's like defensively this year, and we've seen the Chiefs do it past couple of years. They're relying on youth heavy. They got Chris Jones, who, defensively one of the best players in the league. But like you said, there comes a point, and especially when you're paying so many players on offense, so many superstars, you have to rely on youth. It just has to be done. And if you want to win, you need young players to step up. Defensive tackle, all three of our starters, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, those are all guys playing on rookie contracts. Neither of the three of them are over 25 years old. Sweat, still 28, but even him, he's on a 1-year deal. So, the Eagles have some long-term question marks at defensive end and, edge, I guess you could say. Brandon Graham's last year. And, Bryce Huff, like we just highlighted on the questions about him, is great pass rusher. Can he develop into a run defending, edge and outside linebacker? So I think the Eagles' questions on defense are definitely bigger than their questions on offense.
You think they'll handle the Packers? Didn't mean to cut you off there, but
No, you're good. Packers are an interesting game. I really think that.
what are give me your thoughts about this whole thing about the game being in Brazil, the whole green thing.
Stupid. They're robbing us of a home game this year. We're supposed to have 9 home games. They're, sending us to Brazil, and Brazil has wildfires, crime, all this talk about not wearing green when both teams are green. Like, it just doesn't make much sense to me. It's like, I don't know if you guys ever seen the Alshon interview at the Super Bowl.
No.
He was like, man, this shit is stupid. We should have stayed in Philly another week. Came out Friday before the game. All this shit is trash. And it's like, I don't see the need to go to Brazil.
I don't either.
Why the fuck do people in Brazil care about football? Their
Exactly.
football
Is football.
Neymar.
Yeah.
Like, we want to see Neymar run around and play football. They don't give a fuck about American football, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, like I don't see like when you're going over to Europe, that's one thing because like American football is becoming bigger out there.
Right.
I just don't think South America is going to adapt to it. Like maybe Mexico will we'll get into it, but like you're talking about countries like Brazil,
It's money.
Argentina,
It's
of course.
money.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Just odd.
Players aren't happy about it.
They're
I know
not.
that.
I saw what Darius Slay said.
They're not happy about it, but I think they have a good. They're not happy about it, but I think they have a good mindset going into it where it's like, let's go to Brazil, win a football game, come home, never have to do that shit again. So, it's dumb, but we'll see.
My biggest issue with these type of games, especially week 1, is like, all right, every fan of the NFL in America looks forward to this week, right? It's back. Football's back. And you're going to send 2 of the biggest franchises to Brazil.
Yeah.
To Brazil, right? And you're not even allowed to wear green. They sent 2 green teams. Send the Giants. Send the like all these teams that you could have sent that suck.
Yeah.
And you send these 2.
I
I just don't get it. It makes it feel like it's an extra game in preseason almost.
Yeah, the game got a weird feel to it, man, and it's like, I don't know. It's like on one hand, you got two really good teams that should be NFC contenders going against each other on a neutral site. So, there's no home field advantage. It's going to be a good test for both teams, I think. When you go to the Super Bowl, it's like you're going to, some other place that it's not your home stadium. It's kind of a good feeler for both teams, I guess you could say. Brazil's fucking far. It's a 10-hour flight, but how can you handle, going somewhere else outside of your home field and, handle your business? So I think I'd like to see the Eagles, start their season in Brazil, get a win, end it in New Orleans with a win in February. So that'd be cool to see.
Honestly, this might be for the best, because if they were in Philly and they get blown out, I mean, every Eagles fan is just like, all right, we're back where we were last year. It's the worst nightmare ever. You know what I mean? That would be like the worst case scenario of the game. Booed off the field at halftime. It would just be horrible. So maybe Brazil won't be as bad as we think. Although it does sound like A.J. Brown's going to be stuck in his hotel room the whole week.
Yeah, and I think they should be. So Jeff Darlington, I thought it was interesting. He said the Eagles-Packers game is the most important game of Week 1 because the Eagles basically need to win, he said, to keep their season alive, which I think is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to say because a season's not one game.
Yeah.
A season's 16 or 17 games now. So I don't think, God forbid the Eagles lose on Friday, which is crazy to say.
Fuck yeah! You just said it like on Friday. I'm like, what?
God forbid they lose, man. And, we'll get into the game right after this, but God forbid they lose. They have 16 other games, man, and it's like, you lose next week, and it's not like you're losing against the Giants. It's not like you're losing against a team that shouldn't be good this year. Not to single out the Giants, but.
We've done that for the last 3 months.
We lost them last year, so I can't really say much. But if we lose to the Packers, it's not the end of the world because they're a really good team. They have a really good offense, really good coach, really good defense too, and I think they're a really good team.
High expectations of the Packers.
They should be a good team, man. I think that that NFC North division it's gonna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be one of those divisions where week 16, 17, 18, it's gonna be right there in anybody's division. I think the Lions take that division.
Me too.
I'm not as high on the Lions as other people, but I do think they're the best team in that division. Packers, I think, come in second and make the playoffs. Jordan Love, great quarterback, man. He's a young guy. I think he got a lot of potential. The brakes mildly need to be pumped on him because I think expectations are getting too high for him.
It's wild that 1 year. I mean, hey, listen.
I wouldn't even say a whole year. I would say
They paid him immediately. Yeah.
It's half a season and really one playoff game where he had a great half a season. He started out
They
a little
gave him
bumpy.
the fucking bag.
Highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
They gave him the bag, bro.
And it's like
I've never seen that. I've never.
I think
He's gonna get hurt in 2 weeks.
he will.
They got some sleepers.
They have some young guys.
They
man.
do.
And I think
Jaden
that
Reed,
could be one
Dobbs,
of their downfalls.
Wicks. It could be.
That could be one of their.
I feel like they don't have a solidified wide receiver 1. And if whoever their wide receiver 1 is would be a wide receiver 2 or 3 on a lot of other teams.
Like we talk about the Eagles and we're like, hey, youth on the defense question marks. That's all the Packers really have on offense is
Promising though.
very promising.
Yeah.
I'm not talking bad about those guys at all. They're good. I think it's a really good test for the Eagles week 1. It is. Just to see how we can handle a quarterback like that.
I think you should win that game.
I think so. I really do.
Are you guys
man.
favorites?
3 points.
3 points?
Yep.
You see, like that in my mind, I feel like that would be a pick'em game. Like
Should be.
1 point
And
spread.
it's not like we're at home where
Exactly, yeah. Like they're not
team usually
either.
gets 3 points, I think, so it would be a pick 'em. But
I'm not saying it's a
Man.
must-win, but I think the Birds should take. It's going to be a tough game,
I think they win. I do. So,
but I 100% think they win.
I'll say that. I think they win, and I think they like you said, it's not a must-win, but just to get the season
It'd be a great
started
start.
on the right foot.
Yeah.
If you lose the game,
Oh God. You know it's going to be a shit show.
you know.
You're like, oh, they're 1-8 from last year. It's going to be awful.
There's freaking there's 9 days. There's 2 extra days then for the media. They just gas
Just
everything
rip them
up.
apart. Yeah.
But I think the Eagles just have to come
Not
out and
get
they have
blown
to have
out.
a good showing.
Yes.
If the
Of course.
offense shows, if they lose 30-29 or 35-32, if they lose by a last-second field goal, it sucks. It's a kick in the fucking dick. But
At least it's competitive.
they got to show me something, man.
Who do you have week 2?
Falcons at home, Monday night.
Oh, you're good. You're good. If you lose this game, you're
Kirk
fine.
in prime
You're
time.
fine.
Kirk in prime time.
And who's week 3?
Week 3, we're on the road against the Buccaneers.
Yeah. No, you guys are fine. You're gonna be 2-1. No one's gonna
And then
fuck the media.
week 4, I'll pull up the schedule for you guys.
Let's go through this.
Let's
Let's go
do
through
it
this.
live. Let's do it live because
Let's
I
go
was
through
gonna
this.
tell you guys I haven't done it yet. I was gonna do it like Thursday, but I'll pull it up real quick.
So in the meantime, Hassan Reddick is still holding out. He's going to play. He's going to play. Joe Douglas, we're not going to fucking forget this. Get his ass on the field. Give him a fucking contract. Thanks.
Real quick too, I want to highlight something. The 49ers, I think, are due for a step back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wish Gas was here.
Okay, at the start, I was still like, oh, they could be a Super Bowl team. Every single day, I've been on Twitter too, and I've been thinking, like just waiting for this Monday night game to come up. And I'm like, I will say,
You've talked yourself into a win, haven't you?
I sure have. But, however,
I'm picking the Jets.
Trent Williams is now going to be playing. That's massive for the Niners.
But-
That's huge. But I don't think that it's not attainable. We're only 5.5 point underdogs. Dude, we can win that game straight up. I think we match up. We are pretty much the same exact team. They might have one better weapon, 2 better weapons than us on offense. I think our defense is just as good as theirs. It's going to be a quarterback. It's not going to be a quarterback battle. It's going to be a coaching battle and a fucking OC battle. Is Nathaniel Hackett get his head out of his ass and scheme up the right plays? That's it.
You do have a new quarterback, though.
Yes, we do.
Coaching
Jordan
wise,
Travis.
you guys. I think they'll outcoach you guys. I do.
Me too.
But the reason I wanted to bring up the 49ers is because Trent Williams today came out that, he got a new deal or whatever. But they just lost the Super Bowl. Teams generally have Super Bowl hangovers. Eagles had it second half.
Chiefs had it last year.
But just the vibes, man. Like, Brandon Ayuk held out for... You missed training camp. You didn't have a training camp. Trent Williams didn't have a training camp. Brock Purdy didn't wow me this preseason. It's still a good quarterback, though. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. But...
Pearsall
Got shot.
robbed over a Rolex.
Got shot.
Oh, my God. Yeah, dude.
In the chest.
That is crazy.
I picked him up and put him right on the IR.
That's sad, man. That's freaking...
Yeah.
Thank God. Like...
Yeah.
He could have
100%.
died. Yeah, like, so...
He got shot in the chest.
That's like something you never want to see in the league. It's ridiculous. But just
No, back to what you were saying, though. There's only 4 guys that have won a Super Bowl since Dak came in the league in 2016. Mike
Foles,
Mike struggled with this. There you go. Nick Foles.
Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, and gotta go year by year. Oh, Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Yep.
Yeah.
There's only 4. So, like, yeah, that was... you're, dude, he
I'm
goes...
just throwing names
he-
out, dude. I won't
He goes,
know
Mahomes,
Mahomes,
Hurts, Brady.
That hurts.
I said Hurts.
Yeah. What
woke up,
was
I'm
the
like,
other one you said? Burrow. He goes, Burrow.
Just throwing fucking.
So no, I think the 49ers got some questions. Like I said, man, every team at this point in
Yeah.
the season has questions.
Everyone does.
Cowboys have
Offense.
questions. Jets have questions. Eagles have questions. Chiefs have questions. They're not big questions. Are they going to get back to the Super Bowl or not? But that's a
What
question.
time's breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy
Repeat.
Reid, what time's my cheeseburger getting delivered?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there about the 49ers, man. I'm picking the Jets week 1.
My boy.
I just
I love you, kid. Let's go. I am too.
fuck the 49ers.
I am
man.
too, bro. Listen, if the same shit happens last year, Monday night, you guys better call me, make sure I'm okay. Because there could be a lot of scenarios of where I'm going and what I'm
I
doing.
want to say this too, and I know you guys brought this up. So the curse around a quarterback losing their first Super Bowl appearance, they never get back.
Yeah.
NFC.
I haven't
Jalen
even brought that up.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna.
Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, now Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your top 3 contenders in
Yo.
the NFC.
Who's left?
Dak
Who's
Prescott,
left? Dak
Jordan
Prescott,
Love,
Jordan
Panthers.
Love,
Matthew Stafford,
Bryce Young. Technically, Bryce Young.
Danny
Caleb?
Dimes?
Caleb. Can
Caleb.
this be Caleb's
Caleb, yeah.
conference for the next 10 years? I'm not as high as on Caleb. Fuck sticks.
So we're planning to have. That's why I asked you. I was like, because I thought you and Sticks were talking. We're planning to have Sticks and Drew on at the same time,
God.
which is it's gonna be comedy. Like we might just sit back and just throw a question out and just let them fucking hammer each other.
Dude, what if we did this like a presidential debate where we just sat them in 2 chairs?
That's
here
a good
and you
idea.
Yeah, I like
That's a
that.
good
just
idea.
ask some questions.
I like that.
And let 'em go at
We
it.
need to move on. A minute and a half. Sorry, we need to move on.
Gotta mute the mics.
Yeah, we need to move on. Next question. We have another topic.
All right, let's get into the schedule.
Yeah, we keep.
All right. Sorry, so I messed it up a little bit. So week 1, we got the Packers.
I'll give you a dub.
It's gonna be hard for me to say L to any of these games, but I'm gonna have to. All right, so
Listen, don't feel bad if you go all W's because we did this with Drew last season.
Well, like
W.
11 and 6.
Dude, they were like, no, dude, they were 13 and 0 the first time we went through. We had to restart because he's like, oh wait, there's no way we go 13 and
9-8
now.
last year, 10-7.
I think they went like
10 and 7, I think.
Yeah.
All right, here we
Another
go.
thing I'll say. So
Oh, boy.
we're still in the Packers.
Go
So
ahead.
You can't get past Brazil.
Jordan Love, like we said, promising quarterback. Why don't we bring up that 49ers game ever? We bring up Jalen Hurts like, he had the worst fucking season ever last year. Jordan Love threw that game away last year in the
He did.
playoffs.
But
he had them,
he did.
They
But
had
we
a
don't-
chance to win that game. And
I
what does he
didn't
do? He
ex-
rolls out to the right, throws across his body, tries to be a superhero. They lose the game.
I think the difference is that, and this is actually like a good thing for Eagles fans and Jalen Hurts. We expect Jalen Hurts to play up to that level.
Of course.
I don't think many of us were expecting
Right.
Love to play up to that level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like now that he's getting paid this, the expectations are going to rise in the way that he
Yeah,
finished.
yeah, yeah.
But Jalen Hurts has proven to be a championship level quarterback, and he's going to be held to that standard. I know he
course,
hasn't
of
won
course.
the big one,
Yep.
but it's a good thing to be held to that standard.
And
Just
that's the
we all have
standard
to realize, like,
And that's the
okay,
standard
he's
he
going to
sets for
be
himself,
over.
too.
Yeah, he's
the
going to be
standard.
over. What's it?
Yeah,
No.
analyzed.
Overanalyzed.
Yep,
Thank you.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree.
Not over love.
It's the Mets hoodie. Got you in shambles.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Let's not go down that.
Yeah, we're not going down that.
All right. So week 1, Packers. I'm calling a W.
Okay.
We got to start the season off right. Sirianni's never lost a season opener.
Yep. 1-0.
Not letting the bad vibes from last season come into play. I do genuinely think that they let last season go. They're focused on this year, ready to go into Brazil, get a win, come back home. So we'll get a W. Week 2, Monday night against the Falcons. Kirk in prime time.
W.
We're going W.
We'll be close.
It will
2-0.
be close, man. They're going to be a good team
They
this
are.
year. They'll make the playoffs. Week 3, we got the Saints.
Easy win.
At the Caesars Superdome.
They
All right.
are the worst
Tough,
team in
tough
the league.
team. Tough team, though.
You're going against Derek Carr and Spencer Rattler.
It's a
You're winning the
W.
game.
It's a
You're winning the
W.
game.
Week 4, we're at the Buccaneers. Tricky game. I do think we win, though.
W.
4-0 going into the bye, week 5.
God.
Coming out of the bye, we're home against the Browns. I'm going to win.
That's a win. I'll give you that. 5.
Giants at MetLife.
6-0.
Win. That's
So, but now that's a game that
We always do
we
this, bro.
we have to realize that is a game that the Eagles tend to lose at MetLife.
that's Saquon
But I'm-
revenge game though.
I would
6
give
and-
that
6
to
and
the
0.
Browns right there. I would have gave you the L against the Browns.
No, 6 and
Off
0.
a bye
can
week.
see
No,
it.
don't go back on it. 6 and 0.
Off
6
a
and 0.
bye week.
Confidence.
But yeah,
Confidence.
that's what I'm going
Yeah.
with.
Confidence.
Out of all them, either them or the Bucks, but you'll win one and probably lose one.
6
All right,
and 0.
Eagles are 6 and 0.
6 and 0.
We're going into the Bengals. That's a L. Coming back home,
Okay, 6 and 1.
we got
feel
the
like-
Jags.
I feel like you gave the Bengals one an L only because we just said that we're doing it again. But that's
So,
okay.
6
6
and
and
1.
1.
I could
6 and
see-
1.
I could,
Jags-
it could go either
Jags.
way. It could go either way. Week 9, we got the Jags at home. Kelly Green night. That's a W.
Yeah, it's
I
At the Cowboys, week
think
10.
the Kelly Greens are cursed.
No, 2-0.
No, I hear you there, but you guys brought him back and last season happened. Continue. Cowboys.
True. Hey. Cowboys, we always lose at AT&T Stadium, so that's a L.
Yep.
Home against the Commanders, win. And then weeks 12 and 13, we're at SoFi and then we're at M&T. I think we split them.
Okay.
1-1, either or. I'll say win against the Rams, lose against the Ravens.
Oh, I was actually going to go opposite.
me too.
I
Yeah?
think you guys are built a little better to beat the Ravens. And then the Rams, I think that this is a year that Matt Stafford is just going to snap. Think about it.
I can see it.
Week 16, we're sitting there. It's a cozy winter night. And Matt Stafford's on Sunday Night Football, we'll say. He got flexed to Sunday Night Football. It's him versus the Seattle Seahawks. And these guys are talking him up before the game. You know, Matt Stafford in the MVP conversation. He's
Man.
back. He's got Puka. He's got Kupp. He's got Kyron Williams running the ball and not getting
What
hurt.
the hell is going
Like,
on right here?
Yeah.
that's all I'm going to say. We could be looking at that this year. He's just that type of guy that you forget about,
have
and
a
then
good
all of a
group.
sudden he could blast off.
They have a good group, man. They do.
They are. I just think I changed my mind. I think you are going to get absolutely worked by the Ravens if they win. If they stay healthy, I don't think you're stopping them whatsoever.
We'll see, man. Like I said,
But the Rams are good too. I agree with
like I
everything
said,
you
though,
guys
I
said.
said 1-1, so I think.
Yeah,
beat the
exactly.
Rams,
So
lose against the Ravens.
I think that's fair.
What are we at?
So that's 9 wins I have. So 9 and 2 or 3, something like that. Yep.
Well,
Oh boy.
9 and 3 because the
Counting the
Bengals,
wins.
Cowboys, and then one of those ones.
Yep.
Counting the wins.
Home against the Panthers.
10,
W.
Home against the Steelers.
11,
W.
Home or sorry. away.
Well, depends if Russell Wilson's playing.
11. Fuck them.
Away at the Commanders.
Dude, that is a tricky place to play. Let me tell you.
I'm giving you the L there. Why not? Taylor Heineke did it.
What do you think? Don't listen to a Jets
Win.
fan. W. Okay.
I'm going. So week 14
So
Panthers
that's-
win.
12 wins.
Week 15 Steelers win. Week 16 Commanders win. Week
Oh, we
17
rewinded.
home against the Cowboys. Kelly Greens.
Yeah, no, that's
I
a win.
was so confused.
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude,
wait
you-
a minute, you play the Steelers
I was
twice?
like, holy
like,
shit, what a
why did
schedule.
he do this?
All right, yeah, no, that's a W.
That's
Kelly
like-
Green night.
13 wins, depending on the last game.
Giants.
Giants at home.
Win.
It's a win.
Are tough games, man. I'm
You
telling
know, your
you.
schedule. Wait, hold on a minute. Your schedule is not that fucking hard.
No.
You
No.
have 4 elite teams that you're
Remember
playing.
the gauntlet
5.
last year, man? We had.
No,
You have the gauntlet.
we had the
they didn't win
gauntlet.
the division last year.
I think you guys will be fine.
I think we're winning the division.
You are.
You
I
guys
did.
start out easy, which is nice, and I think you move on to tougher schedules.
I
I
think
feel
the
like last
Packers
year.
and the Falcons is a sleeper
okay,
opening.
Yes, agreed. But after that, I mean, look, again, every team is good, but like you're not getting the Rams and the Ravens right off the bat. Like
No.
that's tough. But
But
how
last year
will
we started
injuries
out
hold up?
easy too. Last year
Yeah.
we started out easy, and then we had. So I think that the Ravens and the Rams. That's our toughest part of the schedule. I think.
If you guys don't win the division this year, especially with the curse and all, I mean, we have to take a very honest look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Shelf them.
I have you
Like-
guys 100% winning the division.
You that with the curse,
no way.
Washington's not winning it, and the G-men are not winning it.
No.
So it's either the Cowboys or the Eagles. The Cowboys won it last year, which means the Eagles are gonna win it this year. You have a very
have
good
to.
schedule. We will have to take a very, 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 very serious look in the mirror if you guys don't win it.
I'm looking at like.
And your team's loaded, and no one held out.
Yeah. No. that's what I'm saying. Like, we've had a good camp. You know, no injuries. Knock on wood. Jalen Hurts. You know, training camp stats are stupid, but he threw 1 interception in training camp.
Dude, best preseason quarterback of all time.
He didn't play in the preseason though.
But set records.
In training camp, yeah.
Yeah.
People were probably leaving work to fucking celebrate that shit.
I was at the practice. He threw his first interception.
So,
Were you actually?
oh, you should go to every game this year.
No, well, I would like to.
I can't believe that was a stat on Twitter.
I mean,
Honey was setting that like every day. We're like, asshole.
it is.
Stop.
It is an interesting, like, you know, it's training camp. It's
Yeah.
training camp, and I'm not gonna stand here and say he didn't throw a training camp interception. He threw 1.
It's good look on the defense, right?
Yeah. So.
Vic
But
Fangio, turnover master.
He has looked really good. He's looked really good, and that's why I'm high on him. So, but I'm looking at the schedule, man, and it's like, what are the swing games? Because I don't think we have any definite losses besides maybe the Ravens on the road, which we could win that game. We could. But Packers, I'd say, is a swing game. Falcons at home.
They're a different team.
They're a
If
different
Kirk just
team.
needs to figure it out during prime time. But I think Packers, the Browns especially, I think is a swing
Browns-
game,
Browns-
depending on what
but
their
we are
quarterback
at home.
situation is. That's
So,
fair. I think they're a good ass team, bro.
I do too.
Bengals is another one.
But Deshaun Watson got a lot of questions, man.
He does. He does. Getting paid that type of money for what have we even seen?
Yeah.
So
No, he hasn't really been good since leaving the Texans, and obviously everything else happened. So
they got a strong team though. Besides the quarterback position, I think overall we talked about this. They got a great defense. They got good weapons. They got Jerry Jeudy. If
Yeah.
they can fucking break him out of his shell, that would be huge.
yeah, watch out. They could be a really good team this year, man.
So those are 3 swing games. Obviously, the Rams is 4.
Bengals,
The Bengals, I included them. Yeah, that's a swing game.
Jags at home. I don't think so.
Nah,
but,
I think that's
maybe.
solidified.
Um,
They have to play lights out.
I think we're due to split against the Cowboys. Division games are always tricky. So Commanders and Giants, if we split against them, maybe, but they're not good teams. So it's like,
I mean, Eagles and Cowboys always split. Yes. But I wouldn't say the Giants and Commanders are tricky.
no.
Dak never loses to them.
It's just the division games, man. We swept the Commanders last year, but they played us really good. Like, we went to overtime one game and we were down 14 another. But again, it was just last year. The vibes just weren't good. So
What was that?
Was that you, like,
yeah.
wanting me to tell him that I put 100 on the Commanders win division, like, 2 years ago?
Oh no! But now that you brought it up, what a moron, dude! This guy in the moment he.
Like 100 to win, like it was a lot of money. Like the odds were insane, and I'm like, dude, why do I kind of like this team? This was like what 2 years ago. Now they're finally coming up, new quarterback. They're not ready though, but they do have some sleeper pieces on the team. I just don't think they're ready to compete.
They had Taylor Heineke as their starting quarterback that season.
They gave him their first loss of the season. They gave him the first L of the year.
Okay.
That was an interesting game, man.
They looked good.
Whatever.
Did they?
They did.
What they
I also had
finish?
$100 on them.
Yeah,
so I had
every
to-
team looks good when you got $100
Right,
on them.
Damn right, y'all. Wait till my mortals come out. It's over.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Put
God.
money on it.
I'll
All
tell.
right. That's a great way to end this one, though.
I agree, man. Well, we got the Eagles
Mike
at
talking about
14
taking the
and
fucking
3,
Commanders.
13-4.
13-4, winning the division, ending the Mahomes reign.
What do we think?
I swear. if we
Week
do that-
17, beat the Cowboys, lock up home field advantage for the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Rest starters against the Giants.
Yeah.
That's what happened last year.
No, I'm all in.
That's what I was saying.
I'm
man.
all in on this because anything worse than that is like the Cowboys are winning the division. So I'm all in on this. I would love to see this not happen.
Like I said, man, this offense is gonna be so good that if they're not, it's something went terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Terribly.
Serious
And,
look in the mirror.
I think injuries can derail a season. So I
Oh,
hope
don't
we
start
stay
doing
healthy.
this. Don't start doing this.
But
Don't start doing this.
no,
Making
no
excuses.
No excuse. We should be a good team, man. We just went through the schedule. So offense should be good. Defense, some questions, but I think they figure them out. Youth ultimately prevails, and this team, puts together a good season, and like I said, hopefully starts in Brazil, ends in New Orleans. This time with Hurts having green and white confetti.
Well, we'll fucking see about that.
Hey man,
But
that's best case scenario for us. I think that's their ceiling. But they have to put it together, man. They have to.
oh, I agree. Well, Mike, you got anything else? All
I'm
right.
excited, man. I'm excited. Football's here.
Friday.
Thursday, man. Thursday.
I
So
know.
It's
I'm
gonna be
excited,
awesome.
man. Froze my ass off this whole fucking interview. Football weather's here. I wouldn't
Uh-huh.
want it any other way. So
Yeah.
man, I'm excited, man. Happy
Thanks
to
for
do
coming
this.
on,
Happy
man.
To be here. Appreciate
Yeah.
you guys. Always love talking with you guys.
Trade Embiid.
And we'll reconvene week 4.
Hell
Or
no,
5.
Man, Sixers are winning it all this
Sixers
year.
are winning it all this year.
Embiid, bro. We got on video.
We got PG now, man. Things are different.
People are calling for his head.
All right. We can't get into this because
Yeah.
this will add another hour and a half to the
Yep,
show.
Yep.
There-
Like, follow, subscribe.
See ya.